with the potential for some flooding and hail. There could also be some straight line winds. We're talking about severe wind gusts over 70 miles per hour. There will be some areas where the ingredients are more favorable than others for that golf ball size hail, including those severe wind gusts of over 70 miles per hour. Right now, Houston, though, you are feeling the warmth and the humidity. Temperatures are actually down from yesterday at this time. We're at 70 degrees, about 5 degrees lower. Winds are out of the southeast at about 5 miles per hour. But at times, those winds are going to gust anywhere between 20 to 30 miles per hour as those heavier rains and thunderstorms slowly start to move into our area. And the timing of those thunderstorms, you can see coincide with the increase in those wind speeds as we get into the afternoon, especially into the evening hours, as a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms looks to move into our area late tonight and during the overnight hours. So through most of the day, radar is going to be quiet. We're going to be quiet. Although this morning we are capturing some heavier rains well to the south and west of Houston. We're talking down toward Calhoun and Jackson County. Most of us this morning waking up to a dry but cloudy sky. We're in the mid to upper 60s to low 70s. An increase in the severe weather threat across southeast Texas. This morning, because we're not going to see a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity, that means that the atmosphere is going to have plenty of time to recharge. And with that, the fuel going into this storm is going to be extremely high, extremely potent by this afternoon into the evening hours. So being quiet this morning is not a good thing for us as we get into the afternoon. Now, I mentioned a couple of thunderstorms that have been blowing through down towards South Texas. Right now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning, mainly toward Aransas, Calhoun County, and this is going to be sliding toward the north and east. Right now, radar indicating wind speeds there anywhere between 40 to 50 miles per hour, and we've got hail size greater than a quarter. Now, right now, future track is showing things will stay mostly dry through the morning, but notice what happens right around 2, 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's when the atmosphere starts to blossom these showers and thunderstorms, and at times, these thunderstorms are going to be on the heavy side. They could contain those strong winds, including the potential for some hail, but really we start to see the activity increase, not just in intensity, but also in coverage. As we get closer towards 6 p.m., here comes that 80% chance in coverage across southeast Texas. Now, that front is still over the Brazos Valley as we get toward midnight, and along that boundary will be the focus point of some heavy rain. There's still the potential for some severe thunderstorms, maybe while you are sleeping, and then as that front continues to slide to the south and east, as we get into the overnight hours, there's that pocket of rain moving toward Houston and Galveston. By this time, the severe weather threat will be coming to an end across our northwest counties. There's still the potential for some loud rumbles of thunder along with some severe winds. And then once that frontal boundary continues to slide offshore, that severe weather threat will come to an end early Saturday morning. So, ladies, we've got several hours here coming up this afternoon and during the evening hours where we need to stay weather aware, stay prepared. I know we're already fielding some calls with last night's storms where some folks are looking at the damage even this early morning and saying, hey, it looks like a tornado went through here. We don't have any confirmation with that, but they could very well be straight line winds. I have more details on the severe wind threat as well as the potential for some hail, the severe weather for today, and the flood risk. And that is why we have an ABC 13 weather watch. More details coming up in my full forecast.
All right, Loresca, who has our first check of the forecast this morning.
Good morning, Charlie and Courtney. A lot of an analysis this morning, and even based on some of the analysis our chief Mets did last night, they're hoisting an ABC 13 weather watch. And this morning, I can tell you, based on what I'm seeing on the computer model data, we are in for severe thunderstorms. These are the type of storms that could lead to some flash flooding concerns, especially as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. And this may linger during during the overnight hours. So if you have plans to be out on the roads late tonight, please be extremely careful. As you know, once it gets dark and there's ponding on the roads, very hard to see those high water spots. So just a heads up this morning as you start to make those plans for later on this evening and during the overnight hours. Now, out the door this morning, you're not going to have any issues really. It's partly to mostly cloudy. We've got a dry sky. The winds are calm for now, but they are going to increase based on when the rain and the thunderstorms start rolling in. So you're going to have a couple of hours where those winds are going to be breezy and then locally gusty. At this hour, the majority of us are starting off mostly dry. We've got a nice cool start, some rain-cool conditions with some overnight thunderstorms. So we've got temperatures in our northern counties that have dipped into the low to mid 60s. You can see that here with our satellite and radar. I'm taking you back about 12 hours, and we did have severe thunderstorm watches that went into place in our far northern counties based on that line. The computer models hinted to that line yesterday, and that did verify. Now this morning, we've got some strong thunderstorms down toward Calhoun County. Severe thunderstorm warning is still in place through about 4:45 this morning, so another 15 minutes. These are the type of storms where they could rotate. It's not been observed, but a tornado is possible just to the south along Interstate 35 here, not too far off from the city of Seadrift and Oswell. This is moving toward the east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. If it's not the strong winds, it's the potential for some large hail. So we're going to be monitoring these thunderstorms this morning and whether or not they survive for very long. We know that most of the morning is going to stay mostly dry, and that's going to allow the atmosphere to recharge as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. Notice some scattered activity becoming more widespread as we continue through the evening. The evening commute is going to be very messy, very nasty, especially along Interstate 10 and to the north. Down along the coastline, you're not going to find a lot of activity. It's not until late tonight and during the overnight hours when those thunderstorms and heavy rains start to spread toward the coastline. So we've got a severe weather threat along with a flood threat. I'll have more details on that, but breaking down those rain chances and storm chances to increase as we get closer toward the afternoon. This afternoon, temperature readings somewhere into the upper 80s, and we anticipate those storms to peak somewhere between the 6 to 8 p.m. hour as those chances for rain will be around 80%. I'll have more details on the rest of your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right. And of course, that is why we have ABC13 meteorologist Elita Loresca to keep us informed. You've been doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know living here along the Gulf, it doesn't take a tropical cyclone, right, to bring us the threat for severe weather or flooding rains. Today, we've got that threat elevated, so we do have an ABC13 weather watch, so let's get right to it. Not just here, in fact, you can see the stretch of severe threat for today. It extends not just across the Lone Star State, but it reaches all the way into the Tennessee Valley and portions of the Midwest today, all along that boundary that has not been moving very quickly this week. It will eventually get a nice push overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, and by this time tomorrow morning, it should be sitting offshore with our severe weather threat coming to an end. But we're just getting started. This morning, you're not going to see much in the way of showers and thunderstorms. There's been a cluster of storms that we've been tracking down toward Aransas and Calhoun County. I will show you that with 13 alert radar. First, let me show you what you can expect for today. We've got some strong to severe thunderstorms in place, and you'll notice this orange color. It's been a while since we've seen our severe weather threat a level 3 out of 5. What does that mean? That means that the ingredients this afternoon into the evening, because the event is going to take place later on the day, it's going to give us a lot of time for the atmosphere to moisten, to become charged, if you will, for these showers and thunderstorms to blossom. And within the severe weather threat, you can see that these areas here that are hatched, mainly north and northwest of Houston, these are the areas where the ingredients will be favorable for these thunderstorms to contain hail. These hailstorms could have golf ball size or larger. Yeah, unfortunately larger. I mean, we were showing you those live pictures or that video up in central Texas of grapefruit size hail. So this is all along that same storm system And so you can see some of the areas, the Brazos Valley, Washington County. Right now, you're out of that mix in Sealy, but don't be surprised if you get a couple of these larger hailstorms. And then you can see Huntsville and even portions of San Jacinto and Polk County also within that hatch line. Also, those counties can expect some strong, severe winds. Those severe wind gusts could be over 70 miles per hour. Our flood risk today also elevated. Yesterday, we were showing you parts of our area in a level 2. Now it's all of Southeast Texas where street flooding is going to be likely with these thunderstorms. We're talking 1 to 3 inches will be common, and then there will be those isolated spots that pick up over 6 inches. And you can see some of the favored spots. Don't look at the exact locations, but the trend is showing that there could be these scattered areas, north, south, away from the coastline, mainly inland areas where you could pick up some of those higher rainfall amounts. 13 alert radar, nice and quiet, just some ground clutter currently, but where we do have some organized heavy rain and even some thunder and lightning right around the Sea Drift area. I'm noticing that the storm, or rather the National Weather Service has dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for these areas. But earlier this morning when I captured this view, the hail size moving away from the Refugio area and pushing further to the east, that little pop of color there, that is where that thunderstorm detected hail in that thunderstorm. And you can see the track that it took. It has fizzled out since, and it is moving across Matagorda Bay and toward the coastline. So today when we talk about size, hail size, most common is pea size or marble size, between 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. What is uncommon and what is rare and what we saw yesterday in central Texas is that golf ball or grapefruit size hail. That's exceptionally rare, but we fall in this range today. We could see anywhere between ping pong to golf ball size hail. Heck, I'm not even ruling out hen-size hail of up to 2 inches. So just be prepared today in that hatched area that I showed you that the hailstorms today are going to be very, very nasty, very large. All right, 70 degrees right now. Things are nice and quiet, mostly cloudy conditions. As I mentioned, it is going to stay quiet for most of us during the morning hours. The wind speeds this morning are nice and calm, but they are going to pick up as those showers and thunderstorms get going. The intensity of these thunderstorms will be increasing. You can see the majority of the morning, just the sky being clouded over. Now the feature track is starting to pick up a little bit of activity east of Interstate 45 between 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. But the majority of that rain is going to hold off until we get into the afternoon and into the evening. The first round of showers and thunderstorms will start to develop around 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon, around 4, 5 o'clock or so. You can see that the heaviest of the rain begins to spread closer toward the Houston area and spreading eastward. And then the frontal boundary, as it starts to move into the Brazos Valley, you can see that the showers and thunderstorms start to congregate along that front. And then that front doesn't push offshore until after midnight. So by 3 a.m., that should be sitting off the coastline. There'll be a little bit of rain still associated with that. But as we get into Saturday morning, the majority of that rain is gone. I'm leaving a 20% chance for some wet weather. As far as temperatures, we're starting off this morning, rain cooled in some spots, especially in the north after last night's rains. This afternoon, the warmth that we're going to get today is going to help fuel these thunderstorms, and they should remain intact. But overnight, once that front moves through by tomorrow morning, we've got temperature readings that are going to fall into the 60s. Fast forward to Sunday morning, ladies, and we've got a beautiful day on tap. Upper 50s, lower 60s Sunday and Monday with highs in the low 80s. Definitely some gorgeous weather after today's weather event. Again, an ABC 13 weather watch in place for the potential for some severe storms. Of course, we're going to take another look at that forecast coming up in the next half hour. Charlie and Courtney back after the break.